So there's a spread between say AAA rated bonds. I mean, it's a fact. There's a spread, and again, as though we're bringing a bunch of concepts from the capital markets class to this. We live in an efficient capital market, right, in which all information is widely and freely known and available and disseminated, right? And so there is a spread that, you know, a relationship that one can draw between, say, AAA rated debt, right, and CCC rated debt, right? And so as that goes up, or if you look at it this way, right, as that goes down, right, one can draw the conclusion that the market is telling us that lower rated debt has more risk or lower risk, right? And the implication of that is to the extent that this tightens, right, the extent that this gets smaller, people are saying, hey, there's not a lot of credit risk out there. And if ultimately we perceive credit risk to be a measure of overall economic health, right, the market is saying, hey, as this compresses, we should be expecting good economic times, because the economy's saying, hey, there's no credit risk out there. There's no credit risk out there at all. You know, we don't need a high premium for the highly rated or the lowly rated debt, because the economy is going to get better. So hopefully this is a leading indicator. Okay, so this is kind of a leading indicator of problems looming out there. Why? Because there naturally or logically needs to be a relationship between the risk that one assumes for owning real estate and a risk that one assumes for holding a treasury.
Right.
So what should that spread be? I don't know, but if today or at the end of 2003 that spread is roughly 500 basis points, and in 2001 it was roughly 450 basis points, if all of a sudden somebody's saying, hey, I can buy real estate and I only get 150 basis points more return for the increased risk associated with it, what I'm saying is hey, people poured way too much money. Look at the volume increase, right? What did I say? At its peak in 2007, $433 billion. People were piling money into real estate because what? Real estate was always going to go up. Now, you could argue that people didn't want to go into the stock market because people had been burned by the bubble out here, the tech bubble in 2000 or whatever. Yeah, that's part of it, but it was also the belief that real estate always goes up, and it's a greater fool theory, right? It's just, there's a greater fool coming out there behind you. It's the pack mentality. It's momentum. Mm-hmm. You're the technical guy. The momentum guy, right? The RSI guy, right? It's like, it's all momentum trades. Hey, people are buying, boom, let's buy, let's just go with the pack. Everybody's selling, sell, because there is a certain inertia that happens with this stuff, right? Everybody's buying. People are paying huge sums of money for stuff, right? And ultimately, the wheel's got to come off somewhere, because there needs to logically be some sort of premium for the incremental risk that you're assuming. Did I answer your question? Did I answer your question before? Okay. So what I was going to show you here is so there is a company called Real Capital Analytics. You can see all those numbers, right? No. Okay, so all these like beautiful charts that I use in the capital markets class don't just come out of like some textbook. I put this stuff together. Right on. And I put this stuff together from, so this is, I spend a little bit of time accumulating this stuff before every semester when I present this class. But basically what I try to do for the 4 major asset classes, and I try to focus on Florida for showing this, is I take Real Capital Analytics data and summarize it. And you're going to say, well, so Real Capital Analytics is one of the REE, Real Estate Information Services, and RCA are probably the 2 better known of providers of transactional data for real estate. It's very expensive to get a hold of this, but I do have an academic license that gives me, use to some of their data for free. And so what I get from that is volume, transactions, and I can get it, and I'm going to show you in a second, I can get it basically for all the major metros in this country. RCA tracks all commercial real estate transactions over $2.5 million. It's a lot of information. But as a result of gathering this information, and they've been accumulating it since 2001, I am able to share with you information such as the average price per pound, and pound is different depending on the asset class, or the relative value cap rates. So those of you who took the capital markets class would have seen this in a different format, but you know, basically what this graph is showing you is what's the price per door, or what's the price per unit for mid-rise, student housing, or garden-style apartments, okay? And so, you know, you can take a look at this chart and say, in 2013, garden-style apartments in Florida, well, I should say that, overall multifamily apartments in Florida were trading for roughly $80-some-odd thousand a door. Across the country, garden-style apartments are trading for about $90,000 a door. What does that tell me? Most of the volume in Florida is garden-style apartments. Florida is a garden-style multifamily residential environment. Would New York City be the same thing?
No.
No, it would be more of a mid-rise, right? Okay. So, and then they, you know, they've added, you know, student housing is a little bit more. Presumably, why would it be more? Why would student housing cost more per door?
More risk.
Well, give me a better one than that. Higher rents, higher net income, more services, right? You're charging for internet, right? Because at the end of the day, that all translates to what's the relative value, and that's cap rates, okay? So I've plugged in here what treasuries are, but you can see across Florida in 2013, multifamily assets were trading at an average of 6.6, 6.7%. Now, this is real capital analytics data. You really should further stratify that into Class A, Class B, and Class C. So when you're looking at a particular asset, you need to know if you're looking at a Class A asset or a Class B, so that you've got a comparable set that is telling you, you know, where you should be, right? Now, why do you need to know all this stuff? Because at the end of the day, you can do all the diligence that you want in the world, but an asset is going to trade at where? Where the market will clear, right? Yeah. Supposedly there's no fool out there that's going to pay more than what the net present value of the future cash flows are, and no fool is going to sell it for less than the net present value of its future cash flows. But when you get the auction together, I mean, you heard Nachi say it. Dude, I mean, we just buy stuff, and call you and go, hey, listen, we'll give you the last call on that one, but you gotta get to 52 million bucks. Dude, I can't get there. Well, you're gonna lose it. Okay, hold on, let me make a call, you know? Who's ever been to an auction?
Yeah.
Have you bought something at an auction?
No.
Have you ever bought something at an auction? Isn't it good? Do you feel awesome?
It does.
It's like, wow.
You feel awesome and stupid at the same time.
Well, I was at an auction once. I was in graphic arts for a while. I was at an auction. One of our competitors went bankrupt, and this guy, who's like one of our competitors, walks into the room, and they were bidding on some light tables. Or there's an old profession doesn't exist anymore called strippers, and they're not the kind of the people who strip film, not people who strip clothes, people who strip film. So strip, all that stuff's done electronically now. But you take film and you strip it and lay it out. But so strippers would work on light tables. So they were selling these light tables.
That's what they do now too, though.
I haven't seen anybody stripping in a lot. I've been out of that industry for a long time. Oh, you're staying out.
Well, we got to take you out, man.
I didn't say that. That was a student. That was a student. Robert Saunders. Nova N07.
That's a full-on
Oh, man.
Dr. Hanbury, take over. So this guy walks in, and it was like, he had to be the big, he had to be the big guy in the room, so they were like bidding, and they were bidding for like 10 light tables. And this guy, he heard like $300, and he goes, 500. And everybody shut up, because he was buying 10 at a time, but he had no idea.
Wow.
And all of a sudden he's like, what the fuck?
Whoa.
But, it's like, 5,000 bucks, dollars. But just, that auctions play up to, and so, as much as I'll tell you something will only clear at that price, it really clears it where the market is dictating that, okay? And so, we need to understand, and for multifamily, we typically talk about price per key or per door, okay? We talk about that in the same context in hospitality. For most other asset classes, we typically talk about that in the context of price per square foot. Okay? So, it's important to understand price per square foot and cap rates. Why? Because at the end of the day, you can make a very quick assessment or, reach a conclusion of, do I have an interest or not? Before I spend a bunch of money on diligence, I'm buying a ballpark. Hey, these assets are trading at a 5 cap, I'm priced out. Hey, these buildings are trading at, $300 a square foot, I'm not in that game. Or, hey, I'm in that game. Let me see. Let me chase it a little bit more. Let me spend a little bit more money. So, with that said, right. So, I could go through all this stuff. There's no sense sort of, showing, because you're going to do this now. And what I'm going to ask you all to do is break up into the following groups. Okay. Mark is not here, so I need to modify this a little bit. Okay. But Alex, you got the file I sent you?
Yep.
Okay, so what I have sent for people in the class is the most recent. So what I was showing was 2013 data, but guess what? Real Capital Analytics has now updated through the middle of 2014. So what I just showed you, the reason I want to spend any time on it, it's dated. Doesn't mean anything to you anymore. Now you got to come up with it and inform me, because I need to be prepared the next time I teach this class, right? So for example, Real Capital Analytics tells us, look at that, look at all these numbers these people give us. So they tell us by zone and by specific markets, right? For a 10-year period, they give it to us quarterly, monthly, or yearly. I'd focus on yearly. They give us information related to number of properties that traded, the volume, the number of units, the price per unit or per door, and a cap rate that was being paid. So, you're going to break up into groups. You're going to spend an hour analyzing the major Florida submarkets. And you are going to come as a group and present to the class and let them know what they should expect to pay for multifamily, retail, office, or industrial assets in the major markets in Florida, both on a price per foot or price per door basis and on a relative value basis, i.e. in cap rates, where the trends have been, where the volumes are, and what you should pay. So that as you're walking down the street and somebody says, hey, you can buy a warehouse for 60 bucks a square foot, you can go, or Jacksonville, 60 bucks. Miami, let's get it, okay? So, make sense?
Yeah.
Makes sense? So, get used to dealing with analyzing some market transactional data as well, okay? So, if you could get into the following groups, Alex, Daryl, if you could go with Alex, Tyler, go with Alex, or you guys, I mean, I don't know what's the easiest thing to do, whether you guys get on a computer or whatever, but, so you guys work together. Since Mark is not here, I'm going to ask Mariel to work with Elisa, with Juan, no, with Alyssa, and with Frederick, okay? So Mariel, Alyssa, and Frederick, you guys are together. I need to email one of you these folders, because Mark had them, okay? And Alex's group is working on retail in Florida. Dylan, you received the folders, right?
got my.
And you have them with you.
Yeah, I mean, my email, yeah.
Oh, I'm glad you, yeah, okay. Nicola and Robert Saunders, go work with Dylan. And you're going to be working on Office in Florida. Okay? And Dustin, you got it or you can get to it?
What folder did, I got the one for the leases and stuff, but did you send?
So it's
Yeah,
the
it was,
same
it
team-
was, it was there as well.
Same team for the abstract.
Same email. It should be in there.
I got 2 emails from you, but I don't see either one on
It's one of the zips. It's one of the zips.
there. I got the.
No, but go back to
If I
the,
go to this one, it's just the abstract.
go to the previous one.
I mean, we are probably gonna need more than one.
Real capital analytics. Yeah, so there are 4 leases plus the real capital analytics. And you've got Michael and Juan working with you, right?
Yep.
And you guys are working on industrial in Florida.
Are these the same groups as we're doing for the leases?
Yes, yes. Now I need to send you the zip folder with all these files, okay? And you need to give me, because I'm going to send it from my Gmail now. Can you give me an email?
Hang on.
Professor, well, I don't know if I should need this question.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get a real grasp of it. Yes, I know that you went over it a lot, but I want to really understand the vocabulary.
Is my thing still working for you?
Basically, it's the income that you're getting from the building
Divided by.
the price of it.
Right, that's it.
So why buying a high percent cap rate? Because the building is dando más income and it's worth less, basically, and you would want to raise the price of the building at the end, so that would lower the
Well,
cap rate?
it's not an issue of wanting more or less, it's an issue of, one second, Alyssa, one second, let me get this to her and I'll answer your question. What, give me, I may have it,
So IOYSSA.
no, that's not you, that's Alyssa, okay, Alyssa Mara at,
Gmail.com.
right? Like that one, like that? Two
IOYSS.
S's?
Yeah.
Like that?
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna send it without a, without like any information, okay? But I'm gonna send you,
Is this the information for both the lease and then?
well, I'll send that to you as well, okay? I'll send that to you as well. Let me attach that one. Mark should have the other one. Mark he hurt his back apparently.
Okay.
And he could not, you guys can do this stuff remotely, because it's not, you can divide it however you want, but. So, here's an outline of the abstract, so you get a template for the abstract, and you're going to be working on, the Burgos and Sosa file, so I'll attach that one as well right now, okay?
Okay.
What's the deal?
And then for this project and cost, what are we doing?
You are doing multifamily. I'm sorry, I didn't say that,
Yeah.
multifamily.
Okay.
Okay, so let me send this to you, let me send these two to you now, because I gotta zip this thing first, because I'll send you the lease one in a second, okay? So let me just send these to you right now, okay?
Yeah.
You should have the real capital analytics and the abstract thing, okay? And,
What?
You have Wi-Fi?
Not enough to set up a bunch of computers on.
No, I'm saying so that you can access the email.
Oh, yeah.
espérate un segundito.
You can't use.
Yeah, I can.
Oh.
I also have one on my phone. though.
Oh, okay.
Right, sure.
Log them all on.
Oh, I think I already had these, I had these zipped here already. Yeah, you're doing Burgos and Sosa, so I'm gonna send you Burgos and Sosa, okay?
Do we know for a fact what we need to do?
Yeah, here you go. He's got it on his thing right here.
I just wanted to confirm we're doing, office, you said, right?
Office in
And
Florida.
You need to
Whatever I told you.
She's gonna do it. But, my
Didn't I say
question
that?
is- My question.
He doesn't trust me. I told him, officer.
That's not the.
Ask Dylan, he has it in writing.
And it tells us what we need to do in writing as well.
I just told you, you have to come up with, you have to tell the class what one should expect to pay for different office products in Florida's major markets, per square foot, and cap rates,
Okay.
and the trends in those, okay?
For historically, from when?
From the information that I sent you.
Ah, okay.
It's a sub-market for Florida?
Espérate un segundito,
Main
ya,
market. Main markets?
I'm almost there.
Value before the main market evaluation.
Okay, Alyssa, I've sent that to you. Okay, all right, your question.
No, I just want to think, okay, so I know that it's the income that you're getting divided by the actual price of the asset. So I was, como lo veo en mi cabeza, so you basically want to have the most income you can once you buy it at the lowest price, obviously, so that's a high cap rate. Correct, me estoy por el camino correcto. Y lo quieres vender más caro.
Well, listen, remember, you can't control the market, okay? Okay? You cannot control the market, you can control that. So if you can drive that up, right, a higher numerator is going to, this being constant is going to do what, the cap rate? It's going to bring it down, right? So that sounds good. So what you can control is to the extent that I can increase NOI, I should be able to put pressure on Adam. What happens is, you say, well, I can't control the price. Well, why can't you control the price? Because you can't control the capital markets. So basically what happens with this is if you push NOI up, okay, the market is gonna have an appreciation of what that price is gonna be, okay? If interest rates happen to be going up, which means cost of capital should be going up, it means that the market appreciation of that is gonna be that this is going to be going down. Okay,
If
so
interest go down, prices should go down.
if interest,
Go up, sorry.
exactly, if interest rates go up, prices should go down. So this being held constant, if interest rates go up, this goes down, right? So if this goes down, what does it do to your cap rate? It's gonna raise it, okay? And so that's just a relationship that exists. Now, what do you always want? You can control this, and so you want that to go up. That you want to happen. You can't control this, but you want that to go up. Now, claro,
You
mathematically,
can try and forecast this for.
but no, but you can't control that, but mathematically, right. If I get 10 rents today and I pay, that means at the time that I bought it, it's 100 now. Logic. Yeah, if I can get rents up to 20, and I can get the price to go down, you know, all of a sudden my cap rate is 25% or whatever that is. Yes, it is. Oh, you don't have a, you should be able to,
That's 2014.
no, you have to unzip it. You don't
I've
have,
never used
you just use apps and things like that?
I think I got a clear idea. I wanna go.
No, but it's, you've never had like a zip So,
You were speaking in gibberish and I was hoping I'd figure it out.
I don't speak gibberish.
I did.
Okay, so.
This would just be industrial branch and then just commercial markets.
That would be asking for us.
The version of English.
Just the version of English. I want to put this, where's your desktop?
Yeah, that's, I was gonna say.
It's easier for me. I want to put this on your desktop. Okay, where's your desktop?
And price per square foot?
I know, I just went there and I didn't see desktop.
Yeah, you gotta go, it's in, you want us to do your? It's not in order, you gotta just. Your project for it, come on, Tyler.
Can you control my right hand phone? Can you?
I just go to your.
On the top left, top left.
Documents, then I'll be able to.
You want to come over and grab?
Without-
On the top left.
No.
So you're on, what are you,
Just right there.
asset type,
Yeah,
and then it should
this
say
is
on the
Okay,
drop down
so
box in the top
We
left.
put that there, okay?
Above the
Now,
first draft. That's what
let's
happened.
say.
It had the right number, I just went and zoomed in.
Okay, so that's asking you WinZip. It looks like you don't have WinZip right now. Okay, so let's go to your downloads, 1 second. Let me just see something. Does that show it? Go to your, computer, and let's go to.
Yeah, ours comes up like.
Where did we put this?
Right side of the.
Go back. Can you go back to the net file?
Let's go to documents.
Oh, yeah, go back to that.
No, go back to that
There.
document.
Let's see,
Now
if
go
by
back.
right clicking on it, I see you never found extract to,
US all.
okay, I guess you've never got it, use evaluation version. Let's just use an evaluation version. I'm on there, unzip, okay,
That one.
and it should open up a bunch
How am I
of
not
folders.
that
So-
one?
Oh, here, right
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
Boom, you got them all right there.
Okay, and so our goal is to figure out cap rates and prices
Where you
for,
got?
families, Miami.
In the major markets, right, so let's go
You said
to,
all major markets, I thought.
so let's go over
Or
here,
major markets.
right? And now you've got for garden style, for mid-rise, and for apartments, and for student housing, which are all different subclasses, which I would like for you to share. You now have yearly data, right? So,
What's your email?
let's make this bigger so I can read it, right?
I can't remember.
So now you've got, for 10 years, you've got volume, the number of properties that were sold, the number of units, the price per door,
So it's
and the cap rate.
Okay, but when you
Let's do
say,
the first
so
one-
what is
the
this
first market
market
together, and then we'll
that I
just
need
go
to go
with
to?
Okay,
Is it
so,
for a specific market?
okay, so this is overall national data. So
Okay.
you need to come over here,
And then you open up,
market
But
statistics,
you can.
and when you go to the market statistics one, it actually has all these different submarkets. So now you can go and say, oh, okay, well, let's go to the southeast. Let's go to the southeast.
And,
Right, in the southeast, in addition to markets that are outside of Florida, like Memphis and Atlanta, and all,
I just
we've
wanna make sure I have
got
the right file.
Broward County, we've got Jacksonville,
Just at 9:23,
Miami, we've got Palm
Yeah, but
Beach.
like the
Yeah,
data, the
that
data.
ends right there, yeah.
It
It
only
goes-
I think there are five.
specific-
There are
okay.
five. So there's Tampa,
Maybe it's one of the
Tampa, Palm Beach, Orlando, Miami, and Jacksonville.
Okay, so you want to.
All right, now.
Not compare, summarize.
Somebody, because the information's already there.
It's there for you.
I feel like I'm at work.
You are at work. You are at work. You got it now, though,
No,
right?
I understand your goal now. I was just
Okay.
trying to.
Which folder are you guys working
We're in
on?
industrial Broward right now.
Industrial Broward.
Oh, yeah, you're right on time.
Can,
You got an 8.5 cap and $74 square foot.
Split it up by area?
Right, so we're
Okay,
gonna.
but, so,
Hold on,
you
let's
can look
just,
at,
like-
so this folder has market stats, right? And so, I mean, you can look at their chart.
do you want to make a list
You
of
can just jot the
the
information
things we're
down,
gonna
right?
look for?
Broward is
Okay.
one of how many markets in.
Right.
Okay.
So you need to find the other
It's
five
just hard,
markets.
like, we
Right.
can't all.
Now, you can do that there, or you could also come to the right, go to the right. So you can use that, no, right, you can go down,
Back it up.
come down. You get to southeast region
Okay,
somewhere.
so
You
here's,
can see that in the southeast region.
Broward's the first
You've got the
one.
5 major metros
So
of data,
you
you've got
have-
the your data across for, okay, and you've got
How are
yearly,
you going with 20?
quarterly, and monthly data. So I would use a yearly, I don't think you need to get any more.
Oh, these
sort of-
are,
You want to compare to the national trends or just
You can
Florida?
compare, you can contrast market to market. I'd like to see the trends. At the end of the day, I'd like to be able to walk out of here, right?
I mean, that.
And have somebody be able to answer some of the questions on the police one, which is, what should we expect to pay for industrial assets in the major metros of Florida? Okay. So how much
Yeah, I
is
guess
square
that would
foot,
make
and how much,
sense. So
and
42.
what the cap rate, what the consequent cap rate is of that. It looks like you're in the right market, or in the right file. Yeah, okay, but that's part of the process is learning how to sift through data.
You want, we found 6 major markets in Florida.
I think there are 5, I think there are 5.
Well, we're
Broward,
still.
Orlando, and Tampa, there are 6, there are 6. Hey, there's 6 markets when you look at it, 6.
Really?
Then,
Yeah.
How?
Where are they?
Broward.
And then you want a summary of what the activity is here for.
Well, not so much the activity as what are the prevailing, if I walked out of this class
he's
today,
right.
and I knew
Okay.
for a retail asset in a major
Okay,
metro
so
of
let's
Florida
start
that I was
with
gonna
average
pay.
price per
Now,
cap rate.
they may
So
disclose
in
different
2001,
subclasses there, right?
It
So if I could say,
was
they may or may not, I don't remember in retail, okay?
78,000.
I think that they do have a couple of different subclasses, okay?
It
And
stayed,
so the question is if I walked out of here with the knowledge knowing that, for example, a strip center in a major metros in Florida would cost me $110 a square foot, right? And I roughly translates into a 7.5 cap.
I'm just looking at.
That would make me like, feel like you guys did your job,
Okay.
okay? Now, you can use their chart,
Okay.
you can actually,
These don't break out by region, so I
So
think
2009, it kept going.
across all markets.
right,
So
okay?
that's why.
Okay, now
Now
go
it's
to,
up
go
to
to,
125.
Go back to that other one.
per
yeah.
door.
That one, I can see.
Let's just start with
Way
that
down
wage
three.
market. That way we're not like.
Okay, so we're gonna do 2001.
Yeah, if I pick 49.
Yeah, we might put.
So,
stick
so,
down
so,
point
so
on
back
that.
to
That way
this
we're going
particular
through.
one, you can come
Okay,
up
so
with
then the next one, 900,
national
6,000
trends
mil.
by asset class.
Oh, one, you were at
By
39,000.
subclass.
49.
Yep.
And
roughly.
Florida
And
trends in aggregate.
A foot.
Okay.
Now you're
How does that
at
sound?
58.
Sounds like you can get that data, right?
7.2.
Why aren't you guys working together? Part of, part of a graduate program is learning how to get along, hold hands, stay kumbaya.
And 7.2 cap rate and 83 per
Okay. All right, but you can only, you know, you can work however, so what was your question?
Yeah, the national.
So it sounds like you've got, you got one of the files that's
Okay,
relevant
so
open,
in
which is for the major subclasses,
We have.
05, which was peak.
indicative national data
Projection.
on cap rates and price each square foot. But there's another folder that tells you why the major metros
In
in
05, we
Florida
were at.
want the overall cap rate.
It was 79 and 04. So.
I don't know, let's get all the markets and then we'll do
How far we are off.
36 and
So what's the
7.6.
percentage difference
Well,
from
no,
peak
it's in
to
the-
where
I think
it
it's
is?
36?
Six.
That's like a good number for us.
Okay, so kick the low one out.
No.
And
leave
our
it.
6
Here,
on
it's fine, we can go over how to get that.
Okay, I'll just get the information.
Okay, Miami, we started at
Broward.
73,
Miami with Palm Beach.
and we're currently
We got Palm Beach, they were
143.
with 107.
She's your favorite.
A high, actually, we write that, it's a high per door.
Okay, so just to recap, what do you have for Broward?
8.5 and a 94
It's
per
above
square foot.
peak level.
And that's
23 for the 49 per
So
square foot.
2014, we were at above peak levels for this one, for Miami.
7.2 with
So-
84 per
This
square
is the
foot.
high?
Yeah, this is a 14, right, and this is above peak level for
8.9 with 49 per
in.
square foot.
Actually, all we need, all we need.
1.4 with 107.
But,
For the
yeah.
national trend.
Okay.
Tampa 7.9.
Orlando is 72, and then
107.
peaked at 104.
Okay.
And then-
01, 02,
So what's the lowest
Peaked at
market?
104 and 05.
Price?
And it's at 80.
Technically.
Tampa.
I mean, what I was, I mean,
Does that one have the highest cap rate?
The highest cap rate is,
so I'm like thinking of like, we can say, oh, I'm comparing it to peaks, we're only down 10%.
What is it now, 80? 80?
Orlando's at
Yeah,
8.9.
I mean, based off how I do it.
Maybe go back and see where's the whole
Okay, so
industrial
Palm Beach was
average data, where does
73.
markets fall under?
It peaked at 153 in 06. And it's at 100. roughly.
And we need one.
And then Tampa is
7.5.
right? Okay. And maybe I
And
didn't
65.
compare this to
7.5.
So okay, Tampa was 56. It peaked
Um,
at 87 in
I'm assuming it's
It's at 79.
And year over
And
year
then do
changes.
southeast, like overall,
What?
it's 45. East at 75. I have no
Eleven year over year. From year to year.
75.
Right.
And it's at 61.
Yeah, what would that consider?
So it's at 100% increase. Of Broward, but.
I started doing
These, what's Broward County?
That's the whole industrial. Yeah, that's just.
Oh, we're gonna get to the operator in a
Yeah,
second.
I'd say so.
This, like, me doing the percentage on these will take me 2 minutes. Yeah. I mean, it's just, he said he wanted price per door, so
Yeah.
I'm giving him price per door. It's one of the things he asked for.
I would do the southeast.
So this is what I think this would be the half, well,
So it
southeast.
started at 7, make sure this number's all right, so it started at 7.
Yeah, that,
So the
more
market-
states, yeah.
Peaked at 145.
Yeah, southeast included like Nashville.
2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
5, 6,
those, yeah.
7. So they didn't all peak in 05. I mean, they're all high in this year's, okay.
Get average all of them in.
Here, really, let me just show
I'm gonna
you
short
how
sell one, drop them all in,
high
you can just do the average cap rate is.
above the.
I don't know what you're doing.
I freaking say on all the time.
Drop to there.
Well, yeah, I always like to try not to. Okay, so,
Probably
for
chart it,
example,
yeah.
4 hour, this was
Do you know how to chart
okay.
Excel? I'm better at.
So 145
That's
is,
short for a lot.
I call it 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I
And
know
then
you just
125
go,
island.
you highlight what you want, and you take the wizard.
Did you say you hate it?
I hear you, don't have.
Oh.
Familiar with it?
It just makes
Better
sense.
with the graph.
100, so you do whatever, divided by 145. So you're at 86%.
What? Come on, go.
So
I know, stop.
So that shows
You
average
were at-
square foot, says 1300.
you're at 145 and 06, I'm calling 100%.
Round out that way.
Now you're at 125, which is 86% of peak value. That's what I'm telling you. So you do that for all of them, so then,
Broward.
so this was peak value 79, call that 100. Now it's 68. You do 68 times
Hey, Jacksonville,
100
8.3 cap rate.
86. Yeah.
49
Three.
49 per square foot. Okay.
That sort of creeps me out that they're the same number.
And
I feel like I.
7.2 cap rate. 83 per square foot.
oh, you're not going to have one.
Orlando,
No.
8.9 cap rate,
Oh,
49 per square foot.
It's peak value.
Hey, Palm Beach.
Where it is now.
8.4 cap rate, 107 per square foot.
so peak value should be 132.
Tampa,
Miami?
7.9 cap rate,
I have one car.
7.9.
Peak value is 132 in Miami. So then, right now it's at 145. Okay, so peak value is 132, which I'm calling 100%, and then
Yeah, that's-
143
so that's exactly what it is, but we don't-
cross multiply, if I
So
get
the lowest-
I'll be doing this tomorrow. No, I'm serious. It means that like the way they're giving the data.
It should be,
I would see it
yeah.
on the
The
mayor.
highest cap rate.
So now we're at
Well, it depends how those
108%.
leases are.
So we're
They're
8%
saying
above
$36
market
per square
in
foot,
Miami.
7 point.
Per door.
Yeah. Can't really say
I would have
that.
been like 108%.
Okay, so can you finish this
Yeah,
while
yeah,
I
yeah.
like try and figure this out?
Well, I
So
would
you
say
see
what's an
like
average,
peak,
let's
so
say.
peak,
Well, I would do it this way first, I would say that
So-
you're all on a gross side.
You could say, hey, you
Because the average
so
size maybe
like
doesn't
this times this divided by
What's like the
Over, like,
They trended up.
square foot,
Not a year old.
Way back down, they're going back up.
Gross square foot.
No, it's not up 108% a year, it's up 100% from,
Yes.
which was,
on this, what do you think the, like, taxes and insurance
Like industrial.
I got you. But we're not gonna say that in our borough.
No, I know.
It's how they gonna know what peak.
You're just sticking around.
Well, we're
So
saying,
you are with
if we're
industrial?
gonna tell
Yeah.
them, peak was in '08,
Florida,
we're
industrial
now
Florida is probably
60, we're at, you know,
$2
86%
to
of
$2.25
peak
square foot.
value, is what our door.
And rents?
in Miami.
Rents are all over the place. Rents are anywhere from, I'm gonna tell you, probably $5 gross in Jacksonville, about $3 net, $3.50
It's
net,
annual,
to Miami, probably close to
average per
$7
door,
net.
average per square,
Yeah.
foot, average per door.
What's happening in Palm Beach, like a 107 price per square foot? Inventory?
Well, so you gotta take a look at it, you're only looking at 1 year there, that's why the reason I said trend is yelling. If you're looking at 1 year, look at the number of transactions that you had, and there might be one particular transaction that totally fucks everything up. So, you gotta
Should
take
I
a look
know
at
if
it.
it's down or up?
That doesn't seem right unless there's one particular transaction.
Yeah, right. I just got
Yeah.
a weird one. Yeah.
What was it?
That's why the trend part is important, okay?
Is that way? Okay. It's way lower than.
Some markets haven't come back as much as others. So some were like way just overdone.
44.
Okay,
Junk.
so some not.
There's 22 transactions this year.
Yeah, but so
Also,
probably,
need to look at
yeah,
it.
what probably happens there, well, there's two things. One, there seems to be a reversion back to a mean, right? So there, listen, as I told the group before, don't tell me what you can, but you're telling me something I already know, right? Price per square feet went way up up to about 2007, and they went way down, and now they're coming back up. I know that. Cap rates went way down, they came back up, now they're coming back down again. Okay, so, you know, the other thing to look at there is to say,
Like all different
this particular
kinds. Yeah,
situation,
like
it doesn't look like the relationship. Well, what I'm gonna tell you is, it is possible that in a particular market, a particular building, may make a big difference. This is industrial, there may have been a specialized building for scripts, for instance, transacted that year, that just was significantly higher. I can't think off the top of my head what that building could be,
I don't
okay?
know what you're
But,
trying to say.
go back to your summary sheet that you had from lines. So, if you told me what about buildings are trading at $74 to $83 square foot, what I would tell you is, those buildings, that is a lot of buildings like Class A, Class B, and Class C. And if you really were gonna build a building today, and they, wow, is that DCT project you guys want? You're talking about $100 a square foot. Which the rents don't add up to me, that's totally different.
So not walkable, so it's one of those,
And it's at a bottom set, so
Yeah, just that they're like straightforward.
I think,
you know how when you walk
I
into
think
like,
74 to
it's
80
just
is
one
one
So
strip,
average,
you've got.
we have to tell them.
institutional pride.
See, like,
And it may be pride.
I'm thinking,
Yeah, but here's the definition cap.
no, they don't
I have
have
DCT projects for driving.
Okay.
Oh,
So,
so-
like you pull into a public,
Okay.
look at if you're in the middle of the parking lot, and
That's
someone
just,
says
that's
you
how
got a
Fibonacci
strip
said
here,
it's one
strip
of
here,
the top
and strip
5
here.
markets.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you got a Publix here, a Target,
Oh,
little
yeah,
office
yeah,
corner,
yeah.
little stores in the corner.
So it's like,
That's how
Someone
they
says,
do
you
it
say,
now.
anchored on the end,
With that,
and
there's a.
then
And then
you line, and then you're basically.
But you drive around the parking lot, through a parking lot, you're driving over to the other side of the strip center, to go to the other store.
That should trade it like an
That's
8%.
that's what
So what's the next one?
Go and walk.
But it's crap. Retail's out there. So how would I present that? How would I present that? I would present that, because they go back to the other, I would just say,
Like we can,
where are we today? In some reform, where are we today? Some reform, it's, see, in the Orlando,
Okay, so in Broward,
or Tampa, or this is,
so in
those things
Broward,
don't make any sense to me
between '01
whatsoever.
and where we are today, the
At
average
all,
cap rate
at
was
all.
6.8%.
Unless there were, again,
It
huge
is
transaction.
currently
That, yeah, because, see,
6.6%,
you go back
so
to,
it's slightly below average. In the.
you should try to go back to some of the
I mean,
rent
I
data
would
that you
call it
looked at
reverting
last
back
week.
to an
See, if you're
average,
looking,
but it-
you're zoning in on some
Because it
stuff
was
that doesn't
really
add
high
up to
before
the
the
overall.
market was even high. So, like,
See, from Tampa's in the 70s, 60s, that makes
so
sense.
to call it
Even
average,
50s, that makes
I don't
sense,
know
also
that, like.
36.
27 transactions,
Yeah.
27.
Yeah, but, so, you know, when I look at that,
Okay,
crap, in East
so
Tampa, it's
cap
all.
rate.
That's what I was thinking with Miami, I think there's not a lot of
The problem,
projects
the
that
problem, the
involve.
problem, the only thing
Average
is
cap
that
rate
Greece
is
has
Retail
two,
loan,
and we're
like,
currently
real
at
capital
7.
outlets, or at least what I can get out of real capital outlets. This is
Miami.
Well, now look at.
all that over
This is
the
some of the
months.
stuff I've learned about
They were
how
stratified.
to do averages. Like,
Reese
that
gives you
was
higher
even
rates.
though-
There's an area.
That was average 6.9. Things
So,
learned.
my recommendation is to go out and I would, in your case,
I
go
sit in, I
go
sit
put a
doing
Cushman and
research
get
on
the,
Excel all day long.
or CBRE, or some industrial.
6.9%,
Get the most
currently
recent market report
5.7.
and see what they're reporting, because I will tell you that realistically, industrial product in Florida,
Orlando,
they get
the
institutional grade,
average
higher quality
is
grade.
7 and it's
Commercial market, Florida should
6.4.
be trading somewhere between 60 bucks a square foot in the
Tampa.
Jacksonville type market.
Like we, I mean, I work mostly with like lease
Anywhere
returns, so
from 80 or
average
100 bucks a square foot.
what's this?
Between Orlando and South Florida markets.
Tampa
Because I think the
7.3,
rent's
we're at
justified.
6.8.
Okay,
Five
and you
point
can
six.
say, look, that's not what real capital analytics is, but it's CBRE is showing us this.
Okay, and then wouldn't you, I mean, just on like a quick, like, look at it, wouldn't you think that it's just so like based on the numbers there, they get with a higher cap rate? That Tampa would have the
Average
highest
is
cap rate?
6.4 and we're at
At the low, I mean, that,
No, because the problem, right, I mean, you theoretically, so I'm trying to explain one, theoretically, there's right, there's,
I mean,
you
you
do
look at
math. Yeah, you do math, right, if you do math, math says, if NOI goes up, the price, you know, is going up, right? Then cap rates go down, right? And if NOI stays constant, and values go down, right, cap rates go up, right? So, under that methodology, the concept, you should say, hey,
I don't
the
price
lower
per
relative
square
price
foot
per
is
square foot, you need relative higher cap rate, rents aren't necessarily the same. I would tell you, again, this is all, this is personal knowledge, the weaker of the markets there, industrial, in Jackson.
Just because price per square foot is so
And Tampa,
very
not because it's all bad, Tampa
huge.
just has some of the smaller, it's like a
So it's going to my share right now, so you can be spec. What's happening now?
Per door.
When you say spec,
You know what, right now?
I mean, not having any LOIs and telling you that,
If I can read it outright.
it's gonna continue to grow.
well, that's what they're doing.
So, so
Yeah,
what,
Building and
right?
stuff.
Nachi is a big,
Maybe like make a section.
buys into that, I can tell you.
So right, Broward.
We bought, we
Broward
bought
County.
this
Let's, you want me to like make it from that?
1939.
That way like, it
We
just
got,
makes
we
sense.
got that included.
So
when we
Broward,
developed, we were up 2003, that was supposed to be full house.
Like
Built now,
Just like there's over corners around.
Where does the line end, is that
Within an area.
right there?
no, it runs,
Now,
roughly runs in the north part of the county.
and then
along
like
the
up or
turnpike,
down.
Because
By
in
what?
addition to all
So
the
you
other
can,
issues
instead
you've
of
got in
saying
the
like
northern
up
part of Dade
or,
County,
you know,
you've got the Lake Belt,
you
which
can
is a
say
whole
Right,
separate
86 and then put 86%.
issue. You've
And
got the
then
Lake
for,
Belt,
I
which
guess
is
for cap
state
rate,
regulated land, and then underneath that, you've got, this came out.
Yeah, yeah.
You've got two
You
issues
can't
there.
read it.
But roughly, all the way up
The-
to
the numbers in the blue
Probably
are
better
the-
if she
the-
writes it, 'cause
yeah.
they'll
the
see it.
turnpike,
Okay,
the
so cap
turnpike.
rates,
When you actually get to,
Well, right there,
average.
when you actually get to 20th Street,
Yeah.
okay,
14.
that's what
and
goes
then-
out to roughly 137th Avenue, that's what we included, that was the supposed
And then
to
just-
come up.
okay, so that's
And
where.
then-
just
and
copy
then
it for-
When you get down to like
For
8th
each, like,
Street,
yeah,
it goes all the way
and then we'll
across.
know
yeah.
we have all
And
the-
it's
Oh,
But that's pretty much
Oh, you're gonna do it in
right
each
there where
city.
the.
Yeah, so you're
Okay.
gonna
Pretty much
do
just goes
Broward here,
137.
but all the down.
Cause I saw some pads
A few
or
lines
like
that
they're
way.
doing something.
But that may be related to some of the
You know what I mean?
lake belt
Yeah.
stuff that's there.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
One other weird thing.
it is, it's not just saying, they may have added a couple of, somewhere,
I just thought you like here and there.
yeah, there's some pieces that have been added on, people added, tried to add for like Walmart and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
You're in the city.
Okay, but take a look at the CBRE and Cushman thing and see what they tell you, yes.
Okay, so we started out by doing like price per door, comparing it to peak, things like that. But now, you said you wanted us to talk about the different types of multifamily options, so like gardens, student housing.
Right, so that information is in the other file, and it's national in scope, right? So I don't have access to that for the state, so when you look at the other one, so here you can see what price per square foot for gardens, mid-rise, what student housing is, and what the cap rates are nationally. So you can talk to what are people paying per door, and what the implication of the cap rate is here in Florida. And then you can also talk about what the national is.
Okay, so like for cap rates, we did,
But if you add it all up, you should be the
I was verbalizing and he's writing, so this is what it is in 14, and this is like, we did like the average.
Okay, so, but the issue is, and I was telling you this, is, well, trends are important, don't tell me something I already know. I can already tell you without knowing anything that from 2000 to 2007, price per door, per square foot went up, and cap rates went down. And from 2007 to 2011, price per door went down and cap rates went up. And since then, it's gone back the other way. So trends are important, but when you're doing diligence, what matters most is today. So,
Well, so for like the price per door, just so I did it, the price per door compared to peak.
well, you can do that, but that's only relevant to the extent that you can tie that back to something else. Why is peak important? But the fact that, see, that's like one of the fallacies in investing. People talk about like the 52-week high and low, right? So the fact that something reaches a regular level doesn't necessarily mean it's going to get there. The NASDAQ was trading at 5,000 in 2000. Where's it trading today? Well, it's in the threes, 4,000 color. It's never reached the point that it reached 15 years ago. So high water marks may be relevant with times. They may have a relevance with real estate, but it's only relative relevance, okay? So you can contrast them, but when you're buying an asset today, right, what's important to you is where's the market today, and what can I do? What I was telling Juan before. So if you look at cap rates, there are two components, right? Right? You can typically control that. That's more of a market, right? So when I'm taking a look at a particular asset, I'm going to be much more concerned with the leases and where the leasing market is, and what can I do, and my expenses, what can I do to impact this, because this is really outside my control. I don't control capital markets. I don't control where the general consensus is as it relates to interest rates and any expectation of where real estate fits in relation to interest rates. The only thing I can work on is this.
Well, if price per door goes up and rent goes up more than that.
Yeah, but don't complicate this that much. All I'm trying to
That's
say
what I'm
is,
trying to figure out is what it is.
don't complicate this so much. If I bought an apartment, if somebody came to me today and said, hey, you can buy a 400-unit apartment building in Margate for a 9 cap or $73,000 a door, is that good or bad? What should I pay? Where's the market at today? That's all I want to know, because if Glenn calls me and says, hey, you want to buy a 300-unit, apartment building in Jacksonville, what's my question? What should my logical question be? How much does it cost? And what's the return? And I don't know what the market says those are. And that's all. It's not that complicated.
Well, then it's just literally pulling out numbers. I mean, you want to know what the average cap rate is in each of the markets.
Well, I'm not asking for anything that's that complicated.
Oh, wow, we saved that.
It's not that complicated. It's pretty simple. It's look, here are the major metros in the state. There are different type of, you're doing multifamily, right?
Yeah.
There are different type of multifamily. Typically, one talks about garden style, and people talk about mid-rise. Florida is primarily a garden style state, just because of the nature of who we are. We're primarily suburban environment. So most of our product here, when you look at national averages,
So what's,
So if you say
mid-rise
this is
product
$260,
trades for $230 a square foot. And nationally, garden style trades for
lifestyle
or
center, which is
$230,000 a door, and in Florida trades for $90,000. I mean, and garden style trades for $90,000 a door, which coincidentally is the state average, which leads me to believe that in Florida, most product is garden style. So,
But here, we don't have the actual breakdown on the price per door based on what it is. It's all just price per door.
in Florida.
Yeah. We
Yeah,
don't have-
I don't have access to that, no. I'm sure that RCA has that somewhere, but I don't get that free. And I'm sure RCA breaks down between Class A, B, and C, but I don't get that either. So this is all sort of general indicative data. But there's a process to try to
Yeah.
think through what's important and what's relevant and what can help us in a purchase decision. Because if I go to the bank today and say, hey, I'm buying a multifamily asset, I'm paying $300,000 a door, people are gonna look at me and say, how or why, right? Show me why that's different. I'll be over with you guys in a second, okay? Or if you're getting something at a 4 cap, you're gonna go over it. Well, how can you justify that, right? And I'm making say I can justify that because I know that I can lower expenses and increase rents, and I'm gonna get myself back up to a 7 cap, which is market. Because, for example, a bank doesn't want to finance something that they have to take over that is way above market. Because if they gotta get rid of it, what are they gonna be able to sell it for? The market. So, no, it's not a complicated task. You don't have to, I don't want you to go up there and like make people dizzy with a bunch of numbers. I want people to walk out of here and be able to answer the question that's on the quiz, which is, what are the cap rates and price per door for multifamily in Florida? It's not that difficult.
So,
you multiply that times 1.7, take out, that should back out your taxes.
There is a chance, yes.
Okay, yeah.
There is a chance. Yeah. We're gonna wrap this up right now, so we can do that.
Forget about
Yes, yes, Ms. Reed.
We'll talk about.
Right?
Ms. Reed.
No, you take 1.5 million, and then you divide that by whatever your cap rate is, and that would give you a rate of 7.
Relative to this, you know, which is.
it was this, now it's.
Yeah, just because it's not relative to.
So for each one, it's the peak on that for each,
Yeah,
I mean,
just say that now.
This, you can
You can figure out.
right? So, you can.
Okay.
So that's
What's the average price per door?
Curiously,
So, we're going.
If he's giving us a chance to do
Right, so we
something,
got that?
it's fairly First product. And my aim trade is
We're talking about this one.
Yeah, but this is what's available. We build in here.
Now,
Building size.
Nervous center. So the net value
We're building out the massive.
okay.
what the national.
And then, for the other thing we have
You
to
take our
cover.
taxes like 3%.
From 106.
More operating expenses.
Average.
We're gonna have some more operating.
So the average same floor market.
Okay, yeah,
Do is add up the.
So if I give my rates, I can put that.
And,
So the presentation, I can only present with what I do.
at least all the what he said for all.
No, you can get CoStar, you have access to CoStar, you get some, you know.
So I would say.
But even if you don't put anything in there, and that building number, that's fine, that's all we have.
Hey, are we about getting wrapped up? Because we gotta be like ready for a quiz in 20 minutes, and everybody's got 5 minutes to present, so why don't we wrap up? The first, this is actually 5 minutes early. I mean fast, so it's really 4:20, according to Apple. According to my Apple iPhone, it is 4:20. At 4:25 on my Apple iPhone, I want everybody back in their chair, ready to come up and present. Please.
We're just gonna write down the floor.
And,
It shows 1
950 square foot for these.
950.
Okay, so,
What do you think the operating expenses are for industrial?
In Florida,
Two
broadly 2 to 250 square foot, broadly.
Includes,
Broadly. Now, in Miami, you can come up with industrial properties that could probably be closer to 3 and 3.25. And in Jacksonville, you're probably closer to $2 a square foot. There's some very damaging